Andy. On BBC Radio Sheffield, coming up to 7 minutes past 10. I am Kat. I'm sitting in for Paulette today. And you may have heard Adam Bradford's story before. He's young, just 25. He's from Sheffield. But when he was even younger, still at school, he set up a small business helping teachers to use technology, and he won a competition as a result. He then went on to study at Dragon's Den star Peter Jones Enterprise Academy at Sheffield College and became a national ambassador for Peter's Foundation, supporting young people to set up their own businesses. And now he and his business partner, Bradford Swain, are about to embark on a world tour, visiting 200 cities across all 7 continents in less than a year, all with the aim of motivating entrepreneurs. And Adam and Jordan are with me now. Morning, you sound like you're busy bees. I'm surprised you've been able to find time to come in this morning.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Adam, we'll start with you. You call yourself a social entrepreneur. What does that mean?
So entrepreneurs generally, if you've watched Dragon's Den or you've seen them on The Apprentice, they're all about making money, building a business and making as much profit as they can. Social entrepreneurs do the same thing, but they focus on solving problems in society. So for us, we're all about empowering young people who don't have the opportunity or have been sidelined for whatever reason. So we go out there, we make money through the business, but we reinvest the profit back into projects like the World Tour to help other young people get a head start.
And people who have heard your story before, they'll know that you were diagnosed with Asperger's at 12. And one of the things that you have done is to try and educate people about what that means and try and sort of get rid of that stigma.
Yeah, and I think, it's just another example of breaking boundaries. We're both young. I have the autism diagnosis, and I think it's just a point to prove that it shouldn't hold you back. There's so much stigma around it. It's a label, it's a word, it's a headline. So autistic, and everybody thinks, can't look at you in the eye, doesn't know how to communicate very well. But I've managed to overcome that, and I think we're just shining a light so other people can make their way too.
And how did you guys meet each other? Because Jordan, I understand you're from LA, is that right?
Yes, I'm from Los Angeles. We actually met on Instagram 2 years ago.
Wow.
All of this started with a 7-word direct message that I sent Adam saying, "Love your work. Let's connect."
That's the power of social media. Social media gets a bad rap, doesn't it, a lot of the time? But then this, so from how many thousands of miles away, you saw what he was doing and you were inspired by it. Were you doing something similar yourself at the time?
I was on a separate world tour, and we were both in Chicago. I had just missed Adam. He was coming and I was leaving. And I came across his profile and was really impressed with the work he was doing internationally, and decided to just send a message and to connect like minds. And we actually started our business before we met in person for the first time, which was a bit different.
But
but that's scary though, because of course business partnership is so important, and it's a different relationship to say a friendship actually, because you've really got to rely on each other, and actually that kind of fire that there might be in a friendship, it's not necessarily that helpful in a business partnership. Were you not frightened starting a business without having even met each other?
No, we leveraged the power of technology, really. We had Skype sessions weekly and WhatsApp. We were very much leveraging the power of digital technology to learn about each other's aptitudes and make it work.
So you were sort of scoping each other out, is this a good fit? Is this person the right person for me to sort of really go into business with? And you thought, actually, yes. What about the first time you met each other then?
Yeah, so I just decided to take a holiday to the US. I have some of our family are over there. So I went over to LA. I think Jordan was running an event. So it was a good time just to go, and, seeing as I was going to have a holiday anyway, I may as well make it productive. It was as though we knew each other for years, because we'd had all those conversations. It made it so much easier, I think.
I love the dynamism of this, the fact that you're not concerned about the fact that you live so far apart. And so you said at the beginning, so we're social entrepreneurs, and that means that we have a business, and then we put the profit back into doing something good for other people. So what is the business? What's the core business?
So the core business is called Bradford Swain. It's a social impact agency. We work on branding with NGOs, with governments, with other social entrepreneurs, to really help them create a stronger impact in their work, whether it's with existing programs or whether we help them create new ones. Then we have a travel division. So our main purpose is where travel meets social impact. So we take individuals to destinations and allow them to not only, stay locked in a resort, but actually immerse in the culture where they're going. And then we connect them with local on the ground initiatives and charities to support the work.
So it's
directly.
sort of a tour operator, but with a conscience. So you're going somewhere and you're actually doing something at the same time. It's not just a holiday, you're actually giving something back.
Absolutely. That's exactly the model. And then we also have a media division. So we work to leverage the power of media and multimedia to create social impact. So working again with NGOs and non-government organizations to create campaigns to raise awareness around certain issues or causes. And then lastly, we are building our foundation, which will leverage the power of microfinance to support social entrepreneurs.
I don't even know what microfinance is. There's a lot of words flying around, and I'm not entirely. What is microfinance?
Like small grants or small loans. So we're setting up the foundation. We're just gathering the partners now and still looking for more. So hopefully by January, our aim is to have a small fund set up where young people can come to us with their ideas, or maybe other organisations can come with a project that helps other young people, and we can give them the support they need.
Marvellous. You're listening to BBC Radio Sheffield. You're hearing the story of Adam Bradford, who's from Sheffield, and his business partner, Jordan Swain. They've created this social enterprise where they make money and then they put the money back into helping other people. And they are about to, they've started, but they're about to really go great guns in this world tour where they're going to be visiting all 7 continents. You're going to hear a little more about what that'll entail after this. Dancing on the Ceiling on BBC Radio Sheffield, 17 minutes past 10. I'm Kat, sitting in for Paulette, and we're hearing from Adam Bradford from Sheffield originally, just 25. He has devoted much of his life to creating his own businesses, and now he has created a social enterprise. And what that means is it's a business, and then all the money that they make from the business goes into helping other people. His business partner is from LA. His name's Jordan Swain. They met initially using social media. It was Instagram that brought you both together, and now you're in Sheffield for just a day, and you're about to embark on this world tour. So what's the world tour going to involve?
So the world tour really is about connecting to social entrepreneurs around the world, whether they've started already or whether they're looking to start, and giving them the tools and empowerment they need to be successful. We have a masterclass that we've created called The Secret of Impact and Relevance, which we're doing at different nonprofits, government organizations, really to inspire their minds and empower the local youth. It's also research and development for us. It's looking at problems around the world globally, not just from one perspective, from London or LA, but also globally, and looking at the commonalities between them, as well as some of the triumphs that social entrepreneurs are facing and some of the challenges as well. And the goal is that by the end of the tour, we'll be able to take all this data that we're collecting and create better programs and solutions to solve them.
Okay, this is really interesting because the world of business often gets a bit of a bad rep. You feel like people are in it for profit and they're not really interested in the impact that their business is having on people around them. And obviously social enterprise is completely the opposite of that. It's about doing something that helps people. You started your own social enterprise, and presumably, you didn't have the support that you're hoping to give other people. You're hoping to motivate people. Sometimes people hear kind of words like motivational speaking, and they think, well, does it really have any impact? I wonder what impact you think that actually hearing from someone who's doing something similar, what will that have on the people that hear you speak?
I think it goes beyond just motivation. I think it's practical. So we're not just about coming on the radio, doing the talks and taking the photos like Jordan was alluding to earlier. We're actually creating impact. So we give mentoring, we help charities improve the programs that they already run, we help them see where there's other needs, and we're designing our own programs. We're designing the foundation to fill the gap through the tour, where we've seen, okay, there's a segment of young people. Last week we were in Morocco and we saw there's a tiny little kind of storm brewing of young people who need to get jobs but can't get jobs, so they're creating them, and there's a tiny little spark of something happening in that country. And we're now really excited because we're like, okay, we've seen all the things that happen in England and the US. We can actually bring some of that to Morocco and help develop the country, but also give young people a chance. So it's more than just the words. I think we're also backing that up with the actions as well.
Because when you are young and you are trying to make your way in the world and you're looking at the job market and you're thinking, well, where do I sit in this? Do I have the right qualifications? Is the right employer in my hometown that's going to actually be able to offer me a job? And that can feel very scary, and certainly it has felt that it's got harder for young people. I suppose the whole point of this is about making your own luck and making your own way in the world and saying, you know, okay, there isn't the big ticket employer in my hometown, so I'm going to create something myself.
Absolutely. And as well, harnessing the power of travel and not being scared to step outside of your own comfort zone. Sometimes, like you said, it may not be in your hometown. You may need to go to it and create your own opportunities. So it's really sharing our story and leading by example to expand perspective.
So you mentioned you've been in Morocco. Where else are you going to be headed with this tour?
So at the end of this week, we go to Chicago to run an event for social entrepreneurs there. We also have some work there. We have the Maldives. We have...
Oh, that'll be a nightmare. The Maldives. I feel sorry for you.
Such a horrible place to go. No, it's really nice there. We have
Bangladesh, St. Lucia in the Caribbean. And then from there, starting in January after the holidays, we'll be in South America, and then making our way down to Antarctica even. So the goal is 200 cities, all 7 continents.
And places with incredibly different needs and presumably support and social structures, etc., etc. So you're really having to adapt when you go to places.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But is there a sort of common thread, though, wherever you go? Are there certain key pieces of advice? So if there was a young person listening here thinking, you know, I am struggling and I would like to make something of myself, what other kind of key pieces of advice would you give to a young person anywhere?
I think first one is just remove all your self-limitations. So if you're thinking, I want to do this but I'm not sure, or I think this might be interesting but I'm not sure, or where do I find the money, or whatever it is, just do whatever you can, and you'll start to get a feel for whether that's really what you want to do. I think that's the first thing I'd say.
And to piggyback off of that, find your mastermind group. Find people who have similar passions, who have a similar vision for the world and share similar hopes and aspirations, and get started. It's really about, one of my favorite quotes, and we share this on the tour, is whether you think you can or you can't, either way you're correct. So if you think you can't do it, you won't do it. And if you think you can do it, you will. You just have to start, keep going, and the next thing you know, you're flying.
My great granddad used to say, there's no such word as can't. And I think, you know, it can be a very limiting thing. Thank you so much, guys. You're very inspiring. Good luck. And so Chicago is next.
Yeah.
And when are you going to hit Antarctica? I'm very excited about that.
So we're trying to time it for their summer.
Good one. I think that's a good plan. I love it.
Yeah, so their summer.
Brilliant. You've been listening to Adam Bradford and Jordan Swain. And remind us the name of your social enterprise if people want to look it up.
Bradford Swain.
Bradford Swain. Well, that's quite, good one. Thanks ever so much, and good luck with your world tour.
BBC News School Report.
Every year, BBC School Report gives young people...